Some time ago, I did a degree in sociology. I did a degree in sociology and I did an A-level in sociology as well. From time to time, I found what I learned to be very helpful in terms of the way I think. But one of the things that I learned throughout my A-levels and my degree in sociology is the idea of perspectives. Now with perspectives, especially in sociology, you learn about Marxism, for example. You learn about functionalism, for example. Weberianism, for example. And I guess there will be many others which I've forgotten over time. But essentially, there are groups of people around the world who look at life, who look at society. They're looking at the same thing, but they're seeing it from different perspectives. They're looking at the same thing, but they're seeing it from different perspectives. Truth becomes subjective. Now, there are ways you can quantify truth and measure truth, but even in those circumstances, the truth then fits your perspective, your agenda. See, you can make a survey say anything you want it to say. You just have to ask the right questions. An example of that is in Great Britain, we had a referendum of whether we wanted to stay within the EU. And so much fuss was put into asking the right questions. Because if you ask the wrong questions, then you might get a result that you are not intending to have. So, your perspective isn't necessarily, if you're a sociologist, but in life in general, it's not necessarily based on truth. It's based upon your position, the way you see it, and that can sometimes be influenced by your upbringing, your culture, your religion, your peers. There are many different variables which will cause you to have a perspective. Now, Yeshua, when he was praying in John 17, he said to the Father, "Sanctify my disciples by thy truth." Then he said, "Thy word is truth." In another place in the Bible, in the book of Acts, there is a situation where the apostle is in prison. The angel comes along and says to the apostle, "Go and preach all things pertaining to this life." Brothers and sisters, there is a truth that's not partial to where you grew up, how old you are, your culture, your language, your nationality, your history. There is a truth. That is the truth by which we are to filter all things. The Bible says, when we get to Revelation, that there is going to be worshippers, many tongues, many creeds, many languages, many races of people. They will be brothers and sisters. Because as Yeshua said, his brothers and sisters are those who do the will of the Father. The truth, therefore, brothers and sisters in Messiah, goes beyond language, goes beyond history, goes beyond color, goes beyond ethnicity, it goes beyond sex, it goes beyond age, it goes beyond societal hierarchy. All of those things which oftentimes creates barriers between people are removed. Why? Because the words of the Father is truth. So brothers and sisters, we need to focus less on our words, less on the words we have been told, less on the words we have been trained to repeat, less on the words of men and women, and more on the words of the Father. If we focus more on the words of the Father, then we shall be one. We shall be one. We shall be one, and we shall have all things common. All of those things which are not common, whether we're Hebrew, whether we're Greek, whether we're male, whether we're female, whether we're black, whether we're white, whether we're rich, whether we're poor, bond, free, etc., etc., etc. Those things do not come to the forefront. Those things do not become divisive issues. Why? Because we have a truth. And in accordance to that truth, there is one faith, one Lord, one Spirit, one baptism. Yeshua is the head. We are part of the body, so we should be one.